to the Reform Will Fix It local election tour. Live from Sunderland in the county of Tyne and Wear. Please welcome political commentator and broadcaster Charlie Rowley.
Hello, Sunderland! Oh, you can do better than that. I said hello, Sunderland! Oh, and welcome to the launch of Reform UK's local election campaign 2026! Oh, and here is the slogan, Reform Will Fix It, and they have been all over the country, from the Isle of Wight to Thurrock to Basingstoke to Milton Keynes to Swindon, all over, and here we are in the great city of Sunderland, and we have got a really special night for you tonight. In just a few minutes you'll be hearing from your party chairman, Dr. David Bowl. And before that, we'll be having a conversation with rising star, Councillor Charlotte Hill, and your shadow Home Secretary, Zia Youssef, is here. And, of course, your Deputy Leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, is in the building. And have I forgotten anyone? Anyone at all? Anyone at all? I think you know his name. The leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage, is in the building! But tonight is all about you, because tonight we have candidates here standing in the local area, we have members of Reform UK, we have local residents. The majority of people here, like myself, are not members of Reform UK. We've come down to hear what Reform have to say, and we're going to talk to members of the audience before we crack on with the night. And this is the audience participation moment, and it's my favourite part of the night. It's when everyone starts to relax. And we'll start over here, if I may. Hello.
Hello.
You're quite young.
Yes.
Are you a member? Are you a candidate?
Candidate.
You're a candidate?
Yes.
Round of applause for one of our candidates. Do you mind telling us where you're a candidate for?
Wingrove in Newcastle upon Tyne.
Oh. Oh. Yes. Do we know it? They know it. And why are you standing as a member for Reform UK?
Because I think it's absolutely vital that if people want to vote Reform, they should have the option. So I think if you're not standing as a candidate, and there are seats available, I think you should definitely put your name forward for that.
Very good. You should stand if you want. That's very good. No, very good. Absolutely, absolutely. I'll come. Who should I come to next? Linda. Who's Linda over here? Hello, Linda.
Hiya.
Oh, lovely to meet you, Linda.
Oh, I love you.
Say that again.
I love you.
Oh, you can take me to lunch first, Linda, please.
No.
Why are you here this evening, Linda?
Oh, for the Reform Party, for Nigel. We need to save this country. We've got to save this country. It's dying. And it's the only way we can save it.
Well, I think
so thank you for being here, because obviously you follow Reform as well.
Well, I'm a political commentator and broadcaster, but there are a lot of people here this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, but everybody, we've got to save this country.
Well,
please vote Reform.
You've got the cream of the crop of Reform UK here tonight. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you. Round of applause for Linda. Now, I think I passed someone earlier on who I think I spotted in the crowd. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you. Stand up, that's it.
How are you?
Have I seen you on holiday somewhere?
Well, you might have seen me in Benidorm.
Benidorm?
Oh, yes.
And you are Sean Foster Conley, aren't you?
Well, yes, unfortunately.
And you're a candidate for Reform UK?
I am, yes, at Red House, where I grew up there 17 years of my life. Went to the shipyards. Seen a lot of things happen over the years, especially with Labour All my family was labour. My dad was down the shipyards. Family was in the pits. And I've been abroad and watched the decline of Britain. It's scandalous.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with that, would they? But before we get into that, I think you've obviously turned from Neptune's bar to Nigel's bandwagon. Let's see you in action.
Can't believe it. Tom Jones. Oh, he's good, isn't he? You do know that's not Tom Jones, don't you? It's not Tom Jones.
Yes, Sean Foster-Conley, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Sean. Best of luck with the campaign. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Goodness me, that's got the heart rate racing, hasn't it? Well, going from national celebrity here, I've spotted someone else here just on the corner, to local legend.
I've been spotted.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Grimes! Stand up, Darren, stand up.
All I can say, my friends, is after Sex Bomb, I'm not surprised I'm the next one he speaks to.
Now, you are Deputy Leader of Durham County Council.
I am indeed.
And you are wearing a Reform UK, I can't help but notice, a Reform UK football shirt.
Yes, I am. One of our own. Now,
very good, yes.
I've got one to give away, but I don't want to be rushed. I don't want to be rushed at, honestly. I've got security here. But crucially, this is my second favourite football shirt. Now, we're in Sunderland. I won't tell you which my first one is. But yes, I'm playing some canny football, and I tell you what, if Reform play as well as Sunderland have this season, we'll be doing canny indeed.
There we go. Just tell us a bit about Durham County Council. Why should people vote for Reform UK? You're obviously in charge in Durham. Why should people vote for
Because
Reform
I think actually ultimately what we've been able to achieve, we are a party full of veterans, of former people that have been in industrial industry, people that want to re-industrialise the northeast of England, people that say that managed decline is totally unacceptable, that actually what our forebears went through to build this country ought not be wasted on the cult of multiculturalism and the cult of net zero and all of these poisonous ideologies. So, ladies and gents, if you haven't already and there are seats available, please put yourself forward, because I would just leave you with this one message. If not you, who?
There we are. Darren Grimes, ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Leader of Durham County Council, wearing a fabulous football strip there, if you don't mind me saying. And a few people had commented that I look like a Lib Dem this evening, which I took huge offence to, by the way. If I was a Lib Dem, yes, boo indeed. If I was a Lib Dem, I'd be dressed in a wetsuit or something like that. But here we go. Well, come on down. Well, Darren mentioned if you wanted to stand to Reform UK, I'll walk backwards for the camera. Backwards, probably being the general direction of my career. And here we go, we'll go to the stand for a sign here. So if anybody does feel that they could put their head above the parapet, if they want to stand for Reform UK, there will be somebody here. Hello, sir. Good evening. There will be somebody here later on at the end of the night. They can take your details, you can sign up here, you can stand at, whether it's this election, the next election, the general election, get involved. There'll be somebody here to take your details. But now, as we pass a man that's determined to avoid my eye contact here, story of my life, we'll go up to our beautiful set here. Can we just have a round of applause for the set as well this evening, ladies and gentlemen? You won't get this anywhere else, will you? We've got a great interview coming up with you now, folks. We have got two people, one of which you may know and may have heard of, but I'm delighted to welcome to our wonderful set here, upcoming Reform UK superstar, Charlotte Hill, Highways Cabinet Minister at Derbyshire County Council and Reform UK's Shadow Home Secretary, Mr. Zia Youssef! Hello to you both and welcome to Sunderland.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, thank you, yes, we're in Sunderland.
Thank
Give it
you,
up.
Sunderland!
Now, Charlotte, if I can start with you first. You are cabinet member, as I said, for Derbyshire County Council for highways. A bugbear for motorists with all those potholes. It's something that you've campaigned on, that you've delivered on in Derbyshire. Tell us why on earth you would want that role and what you've done and why Reform UK.
Well, I've got experience in working in highways. It's something I do in my day job. And I think that's something that Reform brings to their councils now. We have experience in what we're working on, and we're not just going to agree with what we're told. So we bring that scrutiny that other councils haven't had before, and that's new with Reform. But in Derbyshire, we filled in over 50,000 potholes. We've spent nearly £60 million on renewing our roads. We've saved £1 million on claims to the council, and we've reinvested £3 million worth of savings back into resurfacing roads.
Well, there we are. Give it up for that. Savings at a local council level, because county councils do so much. They have so much responsibility, don't they? And so when you get the funding, if you get funding from national government, it's making sure that every penny counts. So how do you, as a cabinet member at a county council, make sure that your local council tax is being spent where it should be?
So it's working with the officers, it's scrutinising their decisions and scrutinising their spend. Something we've done in Derbyshire is ensuring that wages stay within Derbyshire. We use local contractors and local people as well, so not going out to agency as much. But as well in Derbyshire, we're working to, as I say, reinvest into the roads as well, because we inherited a Conservative council that left us a backlog of 17,000 potholes. It's something that we're seeing up and down the country. It's not just a county council problem. We have potholes on the motorways as well, and it's a historic problem from the Conservative government that they caused nationally by underfunding highways for many, many years.
Well, I think lots of people will understand exactly why that's so important. And we're going from communities to, arguably the countries here. So, you would be, as Shadow Home Secretary, if you were the Home Secretary, responsible for communities across the country. This is the national campaign launch, but how would you, as the Home Secretary, move away from the slogans that you might have heard from previous parties, the stop the boats, smash the gangs, to actually...
Very good impression.
Delivering. It's almost as if he's in the room. Security. How would you actually deliver?
Look, the British public have had more than enough of slogans, right? What they now want from a government is action. And there's...
Yes.
And, Nigel's dedicated most of his adult life to this cause. Everyone at Reform has made a massive concerted push to try and win the next general election. The elections coming up in May locally here are critically important in that. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to turn this great country around. This is by far, I believe, the most important set, or not just these elections coming up in May, which we can come on to, but huge milestone in terms of what we need to get done. But if Reform does not win a majority at the next general election, I do think the country is toast. I'm on the record with that. On the flip side, if we do win, here's what we'll do. We will move, you talk about what we would do and how the country has had enough of slogans. We'll move at great speed. We're going to do all of the things that, for example, successive Tory governments said that they would do, but never did. So number one, we'd immediately leave the ECHR out.
A lot of support for that.
Immediately, we're out. Number two, we're going to derogate from a whole host of these international treaties from a bygone era, treaties that were signed in 1951 when the world was coming out of the Second World War. It made sense then. It does not make sense now. And it is unforgivable that this country, British people, are told you can't have a border because of international judges and because of our obligations to international courts. It's unacceptable. Britain needs to be a strong, patriotic, sovereign country. That's exactly what it will be under Nigel Farage. But there's a huge operational piece to this too. I came from the world of business where, ideas themselves in business are meaningless. If someone said to you, I could just be just like Elon Musk, I could make self-driving electric cars and create reusable rockets. And you go, well, have you done any of that? Have you started with it? No, I just had the idea. You just laugh at them, right? In politics, I've just been fascinated by everything's just about rhetoric to that point. It's just slogans, it's going on in the media and saying things. In order to actually do the things we are promising to do, and I want to emphasize promise, not just securing the border and moving to net negative immigration, but deporting every single illegal migrant who is currently in this country who should not be here. That is It's a huge operational task, and we're going to be ready for that. We're going to have massive scale-up of detention facilities, a whole new agency, UK Deportation Command, that have one mission. They'll have thousands of agents and one mission, and that is to identify, track down, detain, and deport everyone in the country illegally. And we're not going to stop until that job's done.
Well, the room agrees, and that's because you want to ensure that communities are able to go about their day-to-day, to be secure, to be safe, to not have the issues that I think we're seeing, for example, in Essex, in the Bell Hotel, all of those issues. And that might be something that, when you talk about local communities, Charlotte, what is it that local councils can do to ensure that local communities are really as strong as they possibly can be?
I think we have a really fortunate position at local councils where we're really connected to our communities. We go out to community events and are faces of our local villages and areas. And I think it's that we can get connected with people to feel like they can come to us with their problems and bring that to us and make sure that we're getting our names out there, the Reform name out there, and just making people feel safe and working with us more.
Very good. Yeah, important. So my final question to everybody that is watching online tonight, they are live streaming this event, but to everybody in this room who, as I said before, the majority of people, they're not members of Reform, they might have never been to a political event before in their lives. Why on the 7th of May, at the local elections, should they vote for Reform UK? See.
Well, the first thing to say is that I was chairman of the party during the May elections last year, and we're very proud we stood more candidates than any other party. It's the first time in 100 years that a party stood more candidates than the Tories and Labour, and we pretty much swept the board. Now, these elections are going to be even more important. Why? Because they are going to, if we do what we hope to do with all of your help, this is why it's so important, we will strike, I believe, a mortal blow to the Tory party. Nothing less than that party deserves after 14 years of catastrophic betrayal. We will cement our position as the preeminent right-wing party in this country. And I'll tell you this, if we do what we can do in May, and what I believe we will do in May with your help, then the chances of Nigel Farage addressing the country from a podium outside number 10 Downing Street soon enough will go through the roof.
Well, there we go. We'll have to there. A big thank you to my two interviewees this evening, Charlotte Hill and Zia Youssef. Now, Zia, you said you held this role before, but this is a man that is leading that charge on the fight for the local elections on the 7th of May. It is, of course, your chairman of Reform UK, Dr. David Ball.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hasn't Charlie Rowley done such an excellent job tonight? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been going around the country for the last 9 months. I've seen 20,000 people around this great country of ours. I think I'm pretty close to what is going on. And it doesn't really matter where I go. I can be in Newcastle, I can be in Exeter, Suffolk, I can be in Ipswich, near where I live. And actually, the message is the same pretty much across this country, Charlie, which is that people who tribally voted Labour or Conservative feel so let down by the two parties, the traditional parties. And people are coming up to me in working men's clubs or in village halls, it doesn't matter where it is, and they're saying we believe that Reform UK is the last chance for this country. And I think they're right, don't you? Charlotte and Zia, thank you so much for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Rowley. Well, a very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the official launch of Reform UK's local election campaign. Well, I'm so delighted to be here in Sunderland, of course. Yes! And of course, Sunderland has this amazing history. It's a city which was once known as the largest shipbuilding town in the world. It's amazing. It once made a quarter of all of the world's ships. Quite incredible. But actually, politically, it's also very famous, as you know, because it tends to be the first area to declare on general election night. So Sunderland, as you know, is no stranger to politics. Well, this may be the official launch of our local election campaign, but we have been taking our local election roadshow around the country. Now, we've seen, and this is incredible, we've seen over 12,000 people over the last 3 weeks. And I can tell you, we have had extraordinary, incredible, rapturous receptions across this great nation. In the Isle of Wight, in Basingstoke, in Swindon, in Milton Keynes, in Thurrock, Ipswich, Leeds, and of course, last night in Sussex. I want to be really clear with you and all the media watching tonight. Reform UK is now a permanent political force in the United Kingdom. But I look back to the beginnings of this party. It is worth remembering that Reform UK is only 5 years old. Our journey has been nothing short of remarkable. And to reinforce that message, the facts really do speak for themselves. I can tell you tonight, we are the fastest growing political party in this country. We are also now the largest political party in this country. Now, since I've been chairman, we have gained 5,000 new members every single month of my tenure, and that is pretty remarkable. I wake up every morning and count my MPs. Now we have 8 members of Parliament, and let me tell you, we are not stopping there. And we have led the last 250 opinion polls. And the latest polls, which I looked at today, have us on course to win a thumping parliamentary majority at the next general election. But here is the very sad news. We would kick out big Labour figures. We would say goodbye to Rachel Reeves. Bye, Rachel. We will also say goodbye to Angela Rayner. And here's my favourite, Mad Ed Miliband, out you go. And I say, bring it on, don't you? So without further ado, let's get cracking tonight. Well, on to our first speaker. In May of last year, Reform UK decimated Labour's stranglehold on Durham, and we won control of the council. And since then, my next guest has led that council, and I have to say, he has delivered, and they have delivered, incredible results for local people. You see, the message is really clear to everyone watching at home. When you vote Reform, you get reform. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the leader of Durham County Council, Andrew Husband.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Husband, the leader of Durham County Council, the first Reform UK leader, Durham County Council. Have you heard about what Durham County Council's been doing? Hopefully good. So we're approaching our first 12 months in charge, and I'm going to try and give you a recap in 5 minutes. On our first day in office, we announced that only the county, the country, and the union flags will fly in County Durham. We have undeclared the climate emergency and scrapped net zero targets. But we have declared a care emergency because this is the real financial threat to this council. We have voted to protect farming, to prioritise local produce. We've also recently passed a motion to reindustrialise our county so we can hit the ground running when Nigel becomes Prime Minister. So, our philosophy in Durham, it's quite simple. It's to treat public money as if it were our own. We are making savings, and even our officers are reviewing and cutting expensive management positions and delivering under budget. Budget underspends for the first time ever. We're investing properly in long-term road repairs, fixing problems now so we don't have to fix them later. Doing it properly. But here's the reality. Most of our budget is swallowed by statutory services, while our funding doesn't keep up. And then the government tells councils to raise council tax to fill that gap. It is a proper stitch-up. But we are fighting back. Just look at one of the waste contracts that we've inherited. We challenged it. Eventually, we secured a £73 million reduction in the gate fees for County Durham, also saving North East councils that we haven't even won yet, £250 million. So, Reform UK councils know how to negotiate. Keir Starmer could learn a few things. Need a walk-away point, Keir. Labour is also using private companies to buy homes in our county to convert them into HMOs for illegal immigrants. But we are introducing a measure to resist the spread of HMOs, a cunning plan. No more pop-up HMOs in County Durham. Every application will now have to go from August to full planning, so local residents get their say. Has everybody heard the news about Lockheed Martin? No? £85 million of investment in County Durham at Net Park, one of the biggest global defence contractors in the world. And a reminder, satellites and rockets don't launch on wind and solar, Mr. Miliband. So, only 2 weeks ago, actually, I was having dinner with another big space company called Space Florida. They're over in Durham having a look. So we really are putting County Durham firmly on the map. After 9 months under the bonnet, we've delivered the first 1.99% council tax increase in 15 years at County Durham without using reserves. No council in the North East has achieved this. So, we're fixing decades of decay in 9 months. Well, you can't fix it in 9 months, that's for the birds. But over the next 3 years, maybe. Reform UK is delivering lower tax rises than lower than any other party with a majority council. We won't waste your money. We save it. We just cancelled the £55 million bailout of that development in Durham City. Bullet dodged. We'll not go into detail. And that for those not from County Durham, May the 7th, it's your chance. Your chance to elect reform councillors in your area that will champion you and your family. Your reform council will cut waste and save you money. That will make a difference and they will fight for you. I want more reform councils across the county, across the country, and I'm sure you all do too. Thank you very much. I've actually finished early, raced through that. So I think what I will say, it's an absolute honour to be invited, just to kind of, to be here, to see everyone. And doing what we do in Durham Council, it's absolute privilege. I'm the councillor from my own Chelsea Street North ward where I grew up. You can't get people ask me backstage, are you enjoying it? Enjoying's probably not the right word because I've never worked so hard in my life. But here we are, doing this, we're representing our country, we're fighting back, and we're all playing a part to really make a change. And I've got 2 young kids, and you just think, you know what, I'm doing it for them too. I suppose everyone knows. But anyway, our next speaker has become a very good... Oh, what's happening here? There's nothing going on. Moving on. I think that's me done, actually. I'm not very good at this. Can you tell I'm just getting used to it? But anyway, I think that's me done, is it not? Yeah, thank you very much. Right, love to see you all. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Well done, thank you so much. Well, our next speaker has become a very good friend of mine. He is a man who has dedicated so much of his life to this party. To put it quite simply, Without him, this party would not exist. 5 years ago, this man, Nigel, and I started this party from scratch. And since then, we have fought tooth and nail to build it into the powerhouse it now is. Let me just take you back. 5 years ago, we were polling at 2%. We then got to 9%. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are consistently polling at 30%. That is a meteoric rise. Well, our next speaker is really an amazing politician. He's a passionate campaigner, and he cares really deeply for his constituents in Boston and Skegness. I believe he is exactly what a Member of Parliament should be. Before we meet him, let's see his best bit.
We've won more by-elections than the Conservatives, Labour and the Greens put together. Whether it's saving tens of millions on a waste contract in County Durham, whether it's saving tens of millions on an IT contract in Lincolnshire. We've been saving and delivering savings of some £325 million day one to now. That is a massive, massive achievement. Looking ahead to 26-27, and yes, we've identified savings within our budgets of some £400 million plus, including lower employer pension contributions of tens of millions of pounds. And this is the big one, because we have the lowest council tax rises of any of the major parties by an enormous margin. Evidence is in, the data is there. If you want to save money, vote Reform. It is crystal clear. It's a remarkable achievement. 19 minutes into this 90-minute match, folks. If you want better services, vote Reform. If you want to save money, vote Reform. And the opportunity for millions of voters on May the 7th is to enjoy a Reform Council, get better services, get better value, save money, and have Reform running your council as a majority.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Deputy Leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice MP.
Hello! Wow! Hello, hello! Good evening, everybody. Everybody all right? Yeah. Wonderful to be back here at Sunderland. It is a fantastic, special place. Thank you for being here, everybody. And 7 years ago, some of you might have joined Nigel and I as we set sail on a 2-week walk from Sunderland down to London. We had to get Brexit done. Here we are in the constituency of Houghton-le-Spring, that lovely, nice lady, Bridget Phillips. Harsh, but fair. I suddenly realised, travelling up here, why she's a bit grumpy at the moment with us. Because she's predicted to lose her seat at the next election to Reform. Along with many, many other Labour MPs here in the North East. Now, football obviously is dear to so many people's hearts. I know I'm a patient Liverpool fan, but there we are. It's been a bad week. But if you use a footballing analogy for our successes on what we've achieved in the 10 months that we've been running our first councils, if you take a 90-minute football match, we're in about minute 19. The good news is we're 5-0 up. And they've all been absolute screamers, which I'll come on to. Goal number 1 is that, contrary to what all the people said, the doomsayers, actually we're delivering better services. You heard from Andrew, you heard from Charlotte. Incredible things are being achieved across all of our councils. Take Lancashire, for example. They've completely eliminated the backlog of the educational health and care plans. Remarkable. They're using AI to replace and repair the potholes much, much faster. They discovered the Tories had bought an AI system for potholes, but they'd left it in the box for 18 months. Forget the Tories. Worcestershire, achieving great things as well, reducing the backlog. North Northamptonshire has now been shortlisted for the most improved council in the country. Lincolnshire, saving tens of millions of pounds. Kent, investing more in adult social services, but getting better value for money by renegotiating contracts. You heard from Andrew about some of the savings in County Durham, including saving over £70 million by renegotiating one waste contract. That's the sort of thing that a reform council in a business-like way can achieve. The list is endless of these achievements. So if you want better services, from your council, if you want better value, you've got to vote reform. Goal number two, another absolute screamer. We've saved over £300 million in the first 10 months in this financial year. Remarkable, by scrapping things that don't need to be done and renegotiating contracts. They said it couldn't be done. We're doing it. We're achieving it every single day. And some of you are already councillors. You've heard from others. It is hard work, and I am truly humbled by all their efforts. But this is only literally just the beginning, because next year, 26-27, we've said we're going to save, we're not happy with £300 million. No, we're going to save over £400 million across our councils that we currently control next year. Is that a good number? And we do that by just working harder than anybody else, looking at all of these contracts as they come up for renewal and saying, can we get better value? Do we need to do it? Why are we doing it this way? Can we use artificial intelligence to do things a bit better, a bit smarter, a bit faster? This is what you do in the world of business. This is the approach that we are using. And everything we're hearing and seeing is actually people are saying, thank you very much for these achievements. Leicestershire, likewise, bringing down the backlog of EHCP plans. These are great achievements that they just said couldn't be done. Goal number 4. It's not glamorous, but actually making sure that the council pension schemes are properly managed and that we're paying the right price. Does anybody want to pay 5 times more for your fees? I don't. I spent a slightly sad summer last year reading pension fund accounts. I was horrified by the waste of money, the mismanagement, the underperformance. So already we're driving value tens and tens of millions of pounds, and it's only just beginning. All of these extraordinary things we are doing. And the net result, folks, is goal number 5. It's the big one, yes, and hopefully it'll come up on the screen here. But the result of these savings, there it is. Is it there? Yes. Bingo. We've had the lowest average council tax rise across our 10 majority councils compared to all of the others. They said we couldn't do it. We've done it, folks. 3.94 is the average. The others are almost 5% or beyond. But that's the average. But old Andrew here, leading a council, County Durham, 1.99%. That is a proper result. And you compare that with Newcastle, with Gateshead, with North Tyneside, with South Tyneside, with Sunderland. All of them had rises between 4.5% and 5%. Does anybody want that sort of level? No. Well, if you want a reform sort of approach, if you want to lower these bills, if you want to save money, spread the word. It's very simple. You've got to vote reform and vote big. Because the way we achieve these savings is getting a majority on these councils. Some of them we've got minorities, some of the other parties play ridiculous games. Talking of games, Red Ed Miliband. Oh, honestly, I mean, steam comes out of his head when I upset him in the Commons. As I tried to earlier this week, I did explain to him that actually, oil and gas is our energy treasure and we should be using more of it. He wasn't having it. He's obsessed with what we all call net stupid zero. Is it helping us? No. Is it leading to lower bills? No. Where's that 300 quid the man promised us? The bills have gone up, not down. They don't understand that actually gas is priced domestically. I asked him, why is the gas price in America a third of our gas price? He didn't understand. He had no idea at all. He wouldn't answer the question, nor would his other ministers. These people don't get it. They are driving up your bills. They're driving up your cost of living. I promise you, folks, if you want lower bills, if you want to bring your cost of living down, if you want more money in your pocket at the end of the week, at the end of the fortnight, at the end of the month, only Reform UK can achieve this. We scrap net stupid zero. We scrap net stupid zero. We bring down the cost of energy, bring down the cost of electricity, and we can reindustrialise Britain. Do we want that? Yeah. Do we want good jobs? Yeah. Do we want well-paid jobs? Yeah. Then we've got to do this. We've got to scrap net zero. We've got to reindustrialise Britain and get our economy moving again. All of these things, folks, we can do this. We've got to be optimistic. We've got to bring hope. We've got to bring belief. And you've got to tell all of your family, every single one of them, even if you don't get on with them, just tell them. Tell them to tell their friends and their friends and friends and their cousins, everybody at work, even people you don't like, lend us your vote. If you want to save money, if you want to be better off, if you want better services, if you want to save this great country of ours, there's only one thing to do. We've got to fix Britain, we've got to fix our councils, and the way we do that, everywhere, is to vote Reform. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, that brings us nicely to our final speaker. Who could that possibly be, I wonder? Well, he's a man not afraid of a political fight. He took on Nat West, and he won. He went further, he took on YouGov, and he won. And ladies and gentlemen, at the next election, he will take on the establishment, and he will win. It is as simple as this. There is no doubt in my mind he will become the next British Prime Minister. Before we see him, let's see him in action.
We are all ships rising on a turquoise tide, headed towards winning the next general election. This government is deep in crisis. They are not fit to govern. The Conservative Party are riven. There is a new, strong, unified party, the party that stands up for decent, working people, and we are the party on the rise. The energy has been unbelievable. The enthusiasm has been extraordinary. You are the people's army.
Reform is now in government. And the big shout-out message, and it's very, very clear, is if you vote Reform, you get Reform. And when it comes to country, of what a nation is, this is where I do personally want to confront the Prime Minister head on.
No one cares more about the state of this country than I do. There is nobody more determined than me. But I tell you what, folks, that was just the beginning. Thank you very much indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage.
Good evening, Sunderland. It was here in the early hours of the 24th of June, 2016, when the returning officer read out the result that made us realise that a dramatic political earthquake was about to happen, and the British people had voted against the main parties, against the trade unions, against the big businesses, against much of the media, and they'd voted to leave the European Union and done it decisively. And the reason that I chose Sunderland to launch our local election campaign in England for May the 7th, 2026, is that in the early hours of the 8th of May, we are going to witness another, even bigger, more dramatic political earthquake when Reform achieve results in Sunderland and elsewhere that nobody can yet believe. And of course, we'll campaign on local policies. Of course, we'll campaign on the record of Durham, just over the road. And didn't Andrew do a great job earlier? Isn't he doing a great job as council leader? And as Richard said, we've saved hundreds of millions of pounds in our first year. Our council tax rises are lower than the other parties. We've got much to be proud of. So of course we'll be campaigning here and elsewhere on local issues. But there's no denying that here in the North East, where the Labour Party have held sway in local government and in terms of the MPs they've sent to Westminster since pretty much the end of World War I, this here will be a referendum on Keir Starmer's premiership of this country. And what a record it is. The man who doesn't just give away the Chagos Islands, but pays to do it. The man who tells our American allies they can't use our bases and then U-turns a few days later. The man who is proud, it seems, of the fact that it took 3 weeks and 1 day to send a single naval vessel. You can't believe it, can you? A single naval vessel to Cyprus to defend an RAF base that is British sovereign territory. Mind you, you thought that was bad. The Defence Secretary, John Healey, doesn't even know how many ships we have in the Royal Navy. This is the man who will not stand up for British values. This is the man who will not prescribe the IRGC and think about it. There's now an active terror cell in North London that attacked the Jewish community. It is directly linked to the IRGC, and all that Starmer says is we have sympathy, our thoughts and prayers are with the Jewish community. They don't want his thoughts and prayers, they want action from a decisive leader. They'll never get it from him. This is a man who worked against British servicemen who were hounded through the courts many years after they did their duty for Queen and country. This is the most unpatriotic, the most dishonest, the most dissembling, the most undeserving Prime Minister we have had in any of our lifetimes. And on May the 7th, here in Sunderland and elsewhere, if we deliver the kind of result that I believe is possible as the Labour Party craters support to us and on the other sectarian wing to the Greens. Oh, not many heroin smokers here this evening. No, I'm sorry. Here in the North East, the voters in these areas can deliver a decisive blow, and a blow that would mean Starmer would be out of office by the end of May. Isn't that worth fighting for? More broadly, across the whole of England, where we have Labour areas like this, but equally the Conservative counties of Norfolk, of Suffolk, of Essex, of Hampshire, of Surrey. I think more broadly, these May the 7th elections may be looked back on in history as the moment that the two-party system that has dominated British politics at both local and national level, this effectively will be a referendum on our entire political class and our message. Our message is simple. If you want real change, if you want different people, if you want those with the courage who are prepared to stand up and put the interests of British people first, not international treaties or bogus organisations, if you want people who will make sure that it's British people that go to the top of social housing lists and not young men who've just arrived by boat. But if you want change, on May the 7th, you've got a chance to vote for change. And what we learned on May the 1st last year in the English county elections is if you vote reform, you get... Oh, you've written the script. That's marvellous. I have to say that I was actually astonished on May the 1st by just how many councils we won. I simply could never have dreamt of a result on that scale. And whilst running local government is not easy, with the pressures of adult social care, send children, and all the rest of it, and whilst no one can wave a magic wand, I'm proud of our record of the first 10 months in government. I really, really am. But this year, we have a bigger, better, more professional, more well-funded campaign with better structures, with thousands of enthusiastic candidates. And some people tell me I shouldn't set expectations too high. I should be very modest in my ambitions. Well, I'm not. I'm not. We have to have the mentality that we fight to win absolutely everywhere we stand. That is the only way. And what a huge pleasure it's been for the last 3 weeks. I've been in the Isle of Wight, Hampshire, Sussex, London, Milton Keynes, Suffolk, Essex, Yorkshire. I've been all over the country. And night after night, like this, packed out audiences. And most people who've come to these events have never been to a political meeting in their lives. And it shows me, something is happening out there. Something remarkable, unusual, never seen, not at least for 100 years, since Labour overtook the Lib Dems. Something remarkable is happening out there, and it's because people understand that the two-party system has broken Britain. It doesn't work anymore. And it's sad that we should say that, but because we understand that and accept that, we're in a position to do something about it. Keir Starmer says Britain's not broken. Kemi Badenoch, you've heard of her, come on. Kemi Badenoch says Britain's not broken unless you get the correct diagnosis from the doctor as to how severe the condition is. You can't begin to get the right treatment to sort out the problem. And we are bringing one very important and very powerful four-letter word to this country. Not that one. I'm going to start again. We are bringing one very important four-letter word to this country, and it is hope. Hope that we can turn things around. Hope that we can get politicians that understand what our communities really think, really feel, and really want. Hope that we can turn around economic decline, social decline, and hope that we can bring back the basic fundamental British values to understand what this country is, what it was built on, and to respect, to cherish the Judeo-Christian principles that made our country what it is. And we respect all religions. Many have come into this country. There's an element of the Jewish community from Gateshead here tonight. We've always welcomed people that come to our country, integrate with us, learn our language, have their private observance, but their kids play with our kids, and they're British first, and their religion comes second. And that is the way that it works. But the reason that 4.6 million people in other parts of England will have a vote this year, and in many cases they were denied a vote last year as well. Connivance of the Labour and Conservative parties to deny council taxpayers the right to choose those people running their councils and directly taxing them. And I thought, enough. No taxation without representation. And so we took out a proposal for a judicial review, and we were granted a High Court appearance. Now, in some ways, I was quite looking forward to it. But 48 hours before, the government buckled, and nearly 5 million people in England will have a vote on May the 7th because Reform are prepared to stand up for democracy. And I am very proud of that. Now, the reason the cover for delaying elections was in the guise of local government reorganisation, where we're told, under devolution and localism, more power must be handed close to the people. But have a think about my own Clacton constituency. Have a think about Tendring District Council, right out on the end of the peninsula in Essex. Their proposal is that Tendring District Council be abolished, Clacton Town Hall closed down, and big decisions taken on local planning, etc., will be made a long way away in Braintree. Far from delivering what the government promised of more local government across much of England, it takes it away and moves it to the big cities. And that means that for those living in rural and seaside areas, they will be disadvantaged. But equally with Essex and Suffolk and the others, they now want to divide Essex up into 5 separate, amorphous, unitary authorities. And my position is clear. I do not believe we should break up the historic counties of England that people bear great allegiance to. And we will fight the government on local government reorganisation because no one's been consulted. No one's been asked whether they want their local councils closed, whether they want their counties split up, and whether they want a mayor imposed over the top of it. We will fight this on the basis the consultation's not happened, the arguments have not been made, and we'll fight them through judicial review, and if necessary, we'll hold local referendums to see whether that is what people want or not. May the 7th is the biggest single electoral test there'll be because, of course, I'm talking England today, but remember, the whole of Wales gets to vote, the whole of Scotland gets to vote, and remember, all 32 London boroughs get to vote on May the 7th. Sadly, the Mayor of London election doesn't happen for another couple of years, but we'll begin on May the 7th with that campaign. And indeed, for the general election, May the 7th is an essential, vital stepping stone. Whilst local government matters, it's winning national government ultimately that we have to achieve to change things and turn this country around, change attitudes, and get out of the negativity of managed decline. Let's start believing in Britain and believing in ourselves. And they've literally got everything wrong, both of them. Everything wrong. Open door immigration begun by Blair. I thought he was popular in the North East, I got that wrong. You've had some other beauties up here, haven't you? What about Peter Mandelson in Hartlepool? How about that? You see, David Miliband in South Shields. They, the Labour Party, have taken you in the North East for granted for far too long. All right? May the 7th is payback time for Labour taking you for granted, is it not? But if that wasn't bad enough, we had the Boris wave. Boris opening the doors. Over 3 million people under Boris came. Only 20% on work permits. Many of the rest will live at taxpayers' expense for the rest of their lives. And so many of those numbers will not integrate within British society. That they've all got wrong. But it's okay, because as Boris and Rishi failed to stop the boats, we've got Keir Starmer. Oh, he's going to smash the gangs. Is he hell? And one more thing about Starmer. I got up yesterday during Prime Minister's questions to make a perfectly reasonable point. I said, since Smash the Gangs, 70,000 people have crossed the English Channel, most of them undocumented young males, some of whom will pose a threat to national security in our country. 1,000, I said, have come in the last week alone. Given that this plan has failed, is there a plan B? It's quite polite for me, I thought, you know. Answer, there came none. He did what he always does. He simply reads off a script that he's been given. He's like a pigeon in Trafalgar Square, you know, I mean. And back came wholly irrelevant answers, read off a script about council tax rises in Worcestershire. And I said to Richard Tice, when he sat down, well, actually, I won't tell you what I said to Richard Tice when he sat down. I'd love to share it with you, really. Well. A sanitised version would be sod it, I'm off, I've had enough. And so, I thought, if the Prime Minister can treat Parliament and PMQs with that level of contempt and not answer a serious question, we will treat him with contempt. And we got up and we walked out, and it was the right thing to do. But it goes on further, doesn't it? The energy debate. You simply can't believe the sheer level of absolute stupidity. This country should not be importing vast amounts of natural gas. This country should not be importing huge amounts of oil. This country should not have deindustrialised, like Redcar closing down a few years ago. We've deindustrialised Britain. One of the reasons that America is growing at 4% a year and we're not growing at all is they've got masses and masses of cheap energy. That's exactly what we could and should do. We would provide tens of thousands of jobs. We would revitalise strategic British industries. We would increase the amount of money paid to the Exchequer, and we would remove ourselves in a difficult, dangerous world from the risk of shortages and energy rationing. We must be a self-sufficient industrial nation. And while we're at it, we must think about rural England too. Think about our farmers, our family farmers, doing their best, now under attack from this government. And some so desperate that they're pushed into putting giant solar farms on agricultural land. That will end with a reform government, let me tell you. So we go into May the 7th, better organised, better planned, filled with optimism and hope. But you know, there's a limit to what I can do. There's a limit to what our MPs can do, Zia, David. There's a limit. The really important thing is what happens out there. The really important thing is what happens with what we're building, which genuinely is a people's army. And what is interesting about those that are joining us, we've got some joining us who were previously Conservatives, some joining us who've never been part of any political party or movement at all. But I'm beginning to see an increasing flow of people joining us from the Labour Party, and that is significant. And tonight I want to introduce Aaron Roy, elected as a Labour councillor in Hartlepool, but I have a feeling in a couple of minutes he may no longer be a Labour councillor, he might just be one of ours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening. Good evening. Am I a familiar face? Well, thank you so much, Nigel. Thank you so much. And let me start by saying this is not just a political announcement. It is a statement of who I am, what I believe in, and who I stand for. I entered politics. Thank you. Thank you. I entered politics with a simple philosophy that power should always belong to the people, that leadership must be accountable, and that decisions should be made openly, honestly, and in the best interest of whom? The community. That belief has guided me and everything what I have done. It is why I asked questions when transparency was lacking. It is why I challenged the decisions that not been justified. And it is why I made the difficult decision to leave the Labour Party. But is it? No, it's not. It's not difficult, but yes. Thank you. Thank you. It was because when power becomes centralised, when decisions move behind closed doors, and when scrutiny is treated as a problem rather than a duty, it goes against everything I believe in. And for me, politics is not about control, it's about service. It's not about protecting positions, it's about empowering people. And that's why today I'm joining Reform. A belief in giving power back to communities, a belief in changing systems that no longer serve people, and a belief in being honest with public even when it's uncomfortable. Hartlepool is a proud town, and I'm an adopted son of Hartlepool. A town of resilience, of hard work and a strong community spirit. But it is also a town that deserves to be heard, like every other town in the Northeast, not managed but represented, not directed. My decision today is about continuing to stand for that. And a little bit of fact, I'm the first BAME councillor in Hartlepool's history. And thank you. And I've always carried my responsibility of representation. But representation must mean more than just your presence. It must be action, it must be courage, and it must mean standing firm in your principles, even when it's not easy. My ideology has not changed. My values have not changed. My commitment to the people of Hartlepool has not changed. And what has changed is the platform through which I am continue to work and do that work. And I will continue to stand for people. I will continue to challenge where it's necessary. And I will continue to put my people and Hartlepool first. Thank you so much, Nigel, for this opportunity. Also, thank you. I would like to thank a few people who actually put the concept of reform to me. One is my co-councillor and a good friend, Rob Darby.
Yep.
And the other person will be a person who I sat with the director board, Councillor Joe Quinn. I hope you're here somewhere. Oh, there he is. So thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Rob.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Stay down. Well, I tell you what, well done. He is the beginning, here in the Northeast, of what I hope we can turn into a tidal wave between now and the 7th of May of patriotic people prepared to do their bit, who recognise that Labour has left them behind. And far from just Aaron, I want to invite onto the stage all of the men and women that have put themselves forward to stand for us here in Sunderland. Please come onto the stage and join us. Now, as they make their way, I want to say this to the rest of you. It takes courage to put yourself up to stand for election. These men and women have done it, and they deserve your support. Look at it, there's hundreds of them. Welcome them onto the stage. Very, very good. Welcome, everybody. Very, very good. Do you think they'll all fit? Well, it's a show of strength, but whilst they're walking to the stage, can I say this to all the rest of you in the audience? These people have made a commitment. They've joined the People's Army. They've gone public. There are many of you in this audience who've come along to see this party for the first time ever. And I want to say this to you. I believe there is a silent majority in this country that still stands up for common sense, for decency, and for British values. But the voice of that silent majority will not prevail and will not win unless those that agree with what we're trying to do are prepared to stand up and in their own way make some sacrifice themselves. And you can all be part of this People's Army. You can join us, you can give us money, you can deliver leaflets, you can speak to your friends, you can go to the bingo hall, the golf club, the pub, wherever it may be, and spread the message that if this country is going to have change, if this country is going to have hope, it is only Reform UK that will bring that. So let me ask you, as you see all these men and women who've made this incredible commitment, are you yourselves prepared to stand up and make a commitment to help us? Are you? If you're prepared to help us, stand up. Stand up if you're prepared to help us. If you're prepared to do your bit, stand up. Stand up, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I literally can't get, thank you, I can't get everyone onto this stage. Love you all, thank you all. That is the end of the evening. Thank you very much indeed. Onward to May the 7th!